So, Don Brothers episode 5. This was a Black Ranger focused episode. But what made it interesting about being a Black Ranger focused episode, although Inuzuka was the character that got the focus in this episode, the other cast of characters came in and sort of gave their 2 cents on the whole situation, getting involved in his problem. And the antics that they had in this episode was really fun, but most of this episode was them sort of trapped in this warehouse or where Don Momotaro works, and they're sort of figuring out the situation as it goes on, and they're sort of trying to bend the situation into their own will until Momotaro comes along and sort of scolds everyone for doing that. But what was also really interesting in this episode is we might have an idea why Inuzuka or Inu Brother might be wanted by the police or be a wanted fugitive, because he kind of gives a bit of vague information on why he's being chased, and that is because he's sort of, I get the feeling what's going on right now is he's taking the rap for someone else, and while this rap is going on, while he's taking the fall for someone else and being on the run, being framed for a crime he didn't commit, his girlfriend is being held hostage, and I'm guessing the whole situation is saying, hey, if you get caught while we're sort of laying low and stuff like that, we're probably going to hurt your girlfriend or do something bad. So we kind of understand what's at stake for the Black Ranger, why he's on the run right now. Now, one thing that was really interesting about this episode is this episode had our 5 heroes unmorphed in the same building, but what's also really interesting about our 5 heroes being unmorphed and in the same building is not everyone knows who's who or who's actually a ranger. We know that Oni's sister and Saru brother, they know each other, they've morphed together, they've fought together. Oni's sister and Saru brother also know about Momotaro and how he's the Red Ranger, I believe. And then you've also got the Pink Ranger, Kiji brother, and he's met Momotaro, but he doesn't know that anyone else is Rangers so far. And it's same with the Black Ranger in this episode as well, because when sort of the Monster of the Week invaded the hideout place or the hostage situation, Inu Brother sort of took off running and sort of led the bad guy away, and he morphed on his own, so no one really saw a morph, and the entire team doesn't know who's who on the team just yet. They're all just strangers who meet up because they've got a certain bond, as Momotaro says. But the whole premise of this episode, where everyone started getting taken hostage, or kind of started getting taken hostage, they tried using this situation to their own advantage. Oni's sister tried sort of delaying the situation and stretching it out and sort of making it play out like a movie where she wanted an escape vehicle and stuff like that, because she thought this situation would be good life experience for her manga or for her next upcoming manga that she can work on. And then you've got Kiji brother, who just wanted to call his wife and sort of turn in Inuzuka because he saw that he was wanted before and he thought he could be a dangerous man. And then you've got Saru brother, who was just doing his high Q thing. And then you've got Momotaro, where there's a scene where Inu brother and Kiji brother and Oni's sister, they all eat this bread from a package that they find in the warehouse that Momotaro works at. And when Momotaro finds out that the package is opened, he says, hey, what you've done is stealing, I'm going to do something. And he throws Inuzuka into the van, and you think that he's going to take him to the police, but not really. He takes him to the person who had the package, and he apologizes and says, is there anything we can do to repay you? And Inuzuka, Inu brother, ends up like scrubbing toilets. So I love Momotaro, how he just wants to bring out the best of everyone. Like, you think he's got the best intentions, or the best, or what you think is his intentions, to sort of turn in Inu brother to the police, but not really. He wanted to apologize to the customer, and then after that he says, hey, I've got more work for you, you're gonna sort out all these packages. So I just love Momotaro's moral codes that he's got going on, where he's got his own moral compass, trying to do what he thinks is the right thing. But speaking of Momotaro, he also got a really sad and depressing flashback in this episode, where he looks at a birthday cake, and then Inu brother looks at a calendar, he's like, April 3rd, that's my birthday, and then you have Momotaro remembering one of his birthdays when he was a child, and that is that he had this big party, he was expecting people to come, and then you get the montage of the clock ticking by and no one shows up. And then you've got the dad, Jin, I believe his name is, sort of singing happy birthday, and they sort of all eat cake and have a birthday for Inuzuka. Speaking of birthdays and dates, I just want to throw this in the review. What's really interesting about Don Brother episodes so far as they air is whenever they look at the calendar or the date around them, it is the same date as the episode is airing in Japan. I don't know what kind of weird coincidence that is, or that is planned in the writing, but that is very interesting how things are sort of lining up in real time when we watch these episodes. And seeing that the sort of time is passing as we watch these episodes, they're sort of having week by week adventures and stuff like that, it's showing that time is actually passing in this universe, which is kind of a good thing, and I do like to see that. But in this episode, we also got to see the return of the Donkai Jorin mode, that mech, and it's been a while since we've seen it, and it's cool to see it back, and the mech battle was really interesting. But also at the end of the episode, we see a Zenkaiser gear turn into a Don Brothers gear at the end, so I don't know what that means, or if that means anything, because we've seen it happen before. We've seen sometimes the gear doesn't turn into it, it just appears out of nowhere, so I'm hoping we get an explanation with what the heck is going on with Kaito and Zenkaiger Black, because that is one of the mysteries we haven't sort of explored enough. I mean, we saw Zenkaiger Black in episode 1, but we haven't seen him since then. We've seen Kaito, but we haven't seen him transform since then. Now, the episode ends on a weird and eerie note, or a mysterious note you could say, where we've got the Brain People, or Noto, whatever you want to call them, the three main bad guys, the three generals, and they're in their weird alternate digital world. And up above them is a bunch of historical paintings. You see the Mona Lisa, you see the Jesus dinner picture, and just these interesting historical photos, or images, paintings, and they look at one of them, they look at the Mona Lisa, and it starts freezing up. So I think they're going to turn that into some kind of monster for next week's episode. But whatever that means, or whatever their base is meant to be, it's really interesting visually. I know it's mostly CGI, but all the paintings and stuff like that surrounding them, that really grabs your eye with what the heck are these guys and what are they up to, because I would love to learn more about this bad guy team and what exactly they're planning, because those guys being shrouded in mystery and how they want to kill the monster of the week and sort of destroy them adds more depth to these characters, and I can't wait to see more of them, because they barely appeared in this episode, which was also really interesting as well, not seeing them, but I'm hoping they do show up again later. But anyway guys, that was my review, recap, discussion, mini podcast of Don Brothers episode 5. What did you guys think of the episode, and did you enjoy it or not? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to turn on notifications and stuff like that. Special thanks to all the members such as Swaggerfor and Ajima Coil. If you want to get your name shouted out like these guys over here, hit the join button, become a Patreon member for special perks and stuff like that on the channel, like getting your name in the credits of every video and shouted out like I just did for these guys over here. But with that said, thanks for watching, have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, bye.